the Chase Thomas Podcast, for people who have nothing but time to kill.
We're on a bye, getting ready for Alabama next week. So, any dog bites for us this week, Matt Green?
Yeah, got some dog bites for you this week. This may be the greatest 7-game stretch of Georgia football that we ever see in terms of a big game atmosphere perspective. Because if they go 4-3, 5-2 on this 7-game stretch, it might not feel so great. But I was just looking at this schedule the other day, and so much was made about Florida's schedule in the preseason, toughest schedule in the history of college football. I feel like with Georgia, it's going to feel tougher because Georgia has a chance to win these games. Florida, it's almost insult to injury. It's oh yeah, another loss for Florida. But Georgia, just because they're going to be in so many just big game atmospheres. So we got the bye week this week, but next week at number 4 Alabama, just enough said right there. The following week Auburn at home. The following week Mississippi State at home. Then you go at number 1 Texas. You got a bye week there. Then the cocktail party at number 5 Ole Miss, and then currently number 6 Tennessee. But I mean, what Tennessee's doing right now, who knows? They could be even higher than that at that point. You have in the next 7 matchups or the next 7 weeks, you have 4 top 6 teams you're going to face, and then the other 2 are your 2 biggest rivals. So Auburn and Florida will just always be huge games, and then you're going to have a couple other top 5 matchups. So this is I was trying to go back and find something even comparable. I went to 2020. Auburn and Tennessee didn't turn out to be any good those years. It was number 7 Auburn, number 14 Tennessee, at number 2 Alabama, and then you played number 8 Florida in the cocktail party a couple weeks later. That was pretty tough. 2018, you went at number 13 LSU, number 9 Florida in the cocktail party, at number 11 Kentucky, and then Auburn, which is always a rival. And then the 2013 season, that's the one that was so frustrating for Georgia fans. You started at Clemson, and you got the tough loss at number 8 Clemson. Then you beat number 6 South Carolina in just a shootout, and then you had North Texas, and then you beat number 6 LSU in a shootout. So it was Georgia's schedule was so tough, and it was going to be that first 4 games. What can they do in those first 4 games? Can the offense lead the team that year? And the offense just balled out for those first 4 games. And then all of the receivers and running backs ended up proceeded to get hurt. I think Gurley missed 4 games. Malcolm Mitchell, Michael Bennett. It was so many Keith Marshall, so many torn ACLs on Georgia's playmakers that year.
My mom was an all-time
so the
Michael
season
Bennett
ended up where
fan.
they go 8. Oh, dude, Michael Bennett was great. I think especially that season, I think he was leading the SEC in yards and touchdowns through the first 5-6 games or something before tearing his ACL. Oh, Justin Scott Wesley was another one. He tore his ACL that year, and he was really never the same after that either. So it was that was a frustrating year. But yeah, trying to go back and find anything remotely close to this. I know schedules are tougher in this new SEC, but this is going to be either a lot of fun or a tough couple months to bring Georgia fans back to reality.
I think it's going to be fun, but I also think it's just kind of this is what you're waiting for. Georgia fans, this is the kind of schedule. You've won 2 titles. You're playing with fool's money. What is it? Fool's gold at this point. You won 2 titles in the last 3 years.
I don't think that's not fool's gold.
I don't know.
Play with house money? Is that what you're trying to say?
House money. That's what I was looking for. Not fool's gold. House money is the expression.
It's real gold. Back-to-back natties.
Yeah. House money. That's the term. So I think that's what's happening here. So embrace it. This is fun. Next year's schedule probably won't be as arduous for Georgia.
Next year's schedule is the one they've been waiting for, because now you're getting so many of these games at home. You're getting Alabama, Texas, and Ole Miss at home all in one.
But that's
year.
what I'm saying. It will be a
fun.
better schedule for you next year.
Not as brutal.
This is a brutal schedule, but it's also really fun. I am looking forward to Tennessee going to Norman, Oklahoma, and seeing if they can get over their night SEC road games issues in the Heupel era. It's an opportunity to right some wrongs there. It's an opportunity for Tennessee to kind of solidify themselves as a tier 1 legitimate national title contender here if they can go into Norman and really put their stamp on it and blow them out in a way that I think is entirely possible. The spread going up to 7 here as of this recording. So I was reading a piece today, Matt Green, like some of the lines, like why you should, I think it was on Tony Basilio here locally in radio, and he or one of his writers.
Tony Basilio, is that the guy that was on Madden years ago?
No.
You know what I'm talking about? They had like a radio host on like Madden, like when you're in a dynasty mode.
Maybe, but I mean, he's only college for Tennessee here. He's a local radio legend here. I doubt it.
Disregard. I don't know. That name sounded familiar.
Yeah, I don't know. But he in his blog, they were talking about like all the different lines and all the movements in our preseason stuff, Matt, of like what the lines were for so many of these big games and how much they flipped. Like Michigan, Texas, or Michigan, USC was heavy Michigan, like double digit. I think Michigan was favored early part of this summer, and now USC's favored at the Big House. And you look at some of these lines, they've just done, like Oklahoma was favored by I think as much as like 6.5 earlier this summer, and now they're down. I mean, the lines have flipped so big already, and we're only a couple weeks into the season with how much things have changed because we've seen how these teams have played, and I don't know, we're getting a better feel for them. So it's fun, but this is, I think, the last week before it's just going to be crazy, which is actually awesome for me because Tennessee's on a bye in between Oklahoma and Arkansas. So I get to really strap in for Bama, Georgia, and everything else next weekend because it'll be another awesome weekend, and I won't have to dedicate all of my note-taking and attention to the Tennessee game for 4 hours. So, but, Matt Green, I think you actually have something on Tennessee's front too, right?
I do. Also, this guy's name was Tony Bruno. He was on the Madden game 05, 06, 07. So,
nicely done, nephew. The Chase Thomas podcast. Hell yeah.